wanted to ask you about Gavin. You've had a chance to work with him, prior to spring and now. What have you seen out of him and his development?
I think, Gavin's working really hard at it. I can see that. He's obviously a very talented young man. He's got really good physical skills. But I just love his work ethic, his energy. I don't have any basis to compare it to. It's just where he's at is where we started, and he's been doing a great job working really hard and getting better every day.
Coach, Rutgers was 13 out of 14 in Big Ten points per game. How do you think you can boost that statistic up?
Well, nobody has a crystal ball, right? But I know this: if we take care of the ball, we execute, and we're violent, play harder than our opponent, those things are going to give us the best chance to score points, and that's what we've got to do.
What have you been working on with Gavin since the time you got here?
I think the biggest thing for me and the quarterbacks is, besides just getting to know each other and getting comfortable with each other, is they're an extension of me out there. So I'm trying to learn their strengths and weaknesses, and at the same time I'm trying to get them to think the way I would if they were out there. So think the way that we want them to think in this offensive system so that they can just play when the ball's snapped.
I know it's only been a couple of days, but just from what you've seen so far in the practice field, how have they done kind of the offense overall, taking what you've installed in the classroom and bringing it out into the field? How do you feel like that process is going so far?
I think it's a little early to evaluate, right? But what I can evaluate is their energy, right? Their commitment and accountability to each other. And their energy's been fantastic. Their work ethic, we have a great culture here. Their work ethic has been great, right, with it. So the big thing right now, it's okay to make mistakes, is we just have to learn from them and not make the same mistake twice, right? You know what I mean? That's the biggest thing that we've got to do. If all we're worried about is being better tomorrow than we were today.
Coach, you mentioned in your press conference a couple months ago, you have like a quarterback who's accurate. What have you seen from the guys on film in that area?
Again, it's day two, right? So it's we keep track of the accuracy every day, because again, I just want to see the growth, right, with it. But it's too early. It's an area that I think is never good enough. With the quarterback, we're always looking for ways to be more accurate with it. It's the name of the game. But what I've liked about the quarterbacks in the first two practices in a brand new system, they've been very much under control out there. I don't see any hesitancy in them. I see them starting to take on the leadership role that we need them to take on out there.
Ajani Sheppard just arrived here. How's he kind of making the transition? You just talk a little bit about him.
Yeah, Ajani's awesome. He brings great energy every day. He's you would consider him a gym rat. He just loves football. You can't give him enough information. He's always wants more. He's got talent, right? But he's just learning. He's learning the game of college football. Although he had some his high school coaches did a fantastic job with him. They really did. He's way further ahead than most true freshmen when they get to college as far as how to think deductively and understanding of defenses, but he's still just learning. So it's way too early to evaluate him.
I know in your press conference you said you want the offense to be balanced and explained what you meant by balanced, and you were going to implement a system around the talent that you had here. After evaluating that talent, what would you say is more... How would you kind of describe the offense you're implementing?
We haven't even put the pads on yet, right? You know what I mean? So we're installing a system right now, and as we go through spring, we'll have a better idea of where we're at. One of the disadvantages of taking a new job is that it's going to take a spring, right? Guy makes a mistake. Did he make the mistake because he just hasn't had enough reps yet at it? Or is he not executing that because that's not something that he just does it's not in his wheelhouse, right? And so we have to do a great job, and luckily we have a great coaching staff that when the spring's over, of really sitting down and evaluating who's our best 11 guys, who do we want to get the ball in their hands, what do we do best, what does our style need to be, what's our best run scheme, What are the best things we're doing in the passing game? What's the quarterback the most comfortable with? What are the wideouts the best at? That's going to come with time.
Lost a lot of production at wide receiver to graduation. What's kind of your assessment of that position group right now? They're younger. How do you feel about the depth there?
Yeah, I mean, they're young, right? So again, with guys that young that really haven't played, I'm not going to rush the evaluation process. Coach Brock, we're blessed to have him. We got a guy who's trained NFL wide receivers, who's an unbelievable teacher and has developed guys at the highest level. We also have, John Perry, who's trained wide receivers at the highest level. So they're in great hands. We just have to be patient and allow those guys to develop and grow every day. And they're going to have some growing pains. I know that. I might not like it when it happens, but I'm going to take a deep breath and let's see where they're at tomorrow.
Time for two more.
With the three quarterbacks, three Scottsburg quarterbacks in the room, do you feel comfortable with them, or do you feel like you would like to add somebody, for the summer?
I think that's really probably a Coach Ciarrocca question. For me right now, that's way too early to even think about right now. I love the way the guys are working. I think they have potential and ability there. Now it's my job to get it out of them.
Coach, you spoke about the quarterbacks and the wide receivers. I guess just speak about the running back room.
The running back room, that based on playing time and productivity, that might be our deepest area that we have right now. But for me, I've just been able to watch them on film. I have not seen them break a tackle yet. I have not seen them the ability to, after contact, to fall forward, to turn the 2-yard runs into the 4-yard runs, the ability to turn the 4-yard runs into 7-yard runs. So again, I love the way they're working. I love the way they're picking up the system. You can tell that they have a little bit more experience with their poise out there in the field, that they've been in the battle and in important battles at times. So I think Kyle's doing a great job from a leadership standpoint at that position. So I'm excited about the position group.
We'll finish with Pat right here.
Since we won't get to talk to you for another 11 months at this point, can I ask you about one player, Rashad Rochelle, who is kind of in between positions and could be a guy that could maybe have a breakout season? What's your opinion on him at this point?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Train's going to become a very good wide receiver. I really am. I see that skill set in him. Again, he's in great hands with the coaches that are around him. But I don't. With him, as I watch him move around, it's not if he's going to be a good player and productive for us. It's just when, And he's done a great job putting in the work so far, but it takes work, right? And it's a process. So we just got to keep working with him.